All right, my name is Joe Zapian. Like everybody said, I have no relation to Zapier, even though our names are very similar. When I went to go meet the guys at Zapier, they asked me if I changed my name on LinkedIn to be closer to Zapier, because my name is pronounced Zapian, but it looks like Zapian, right? So no, I'm not related to Zapier at all, besides being a user. And yeah, if I was, I'd probably be in a mansion somewhere on a yacht. Anyway, I am the CEO of a company called Smart Click Systems. We are a business process automation company, and blah, 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 automations, AI, all that good stuff. So we're going to get to that. Before we do that, I want to get a quick show of hands. Who aspires to be a quitter in life? Raise your hand. Who aspires to be a quitter? This guy over here. Okay, all right. We got one, and here's two. And there's two things I'm going to do today. I'm going to ask you for something, and I'm going to give you something. Okay, I'm going to ask you for something, I'm going to give you something. You'll be very clear what it is by the time we get there. Before we get into yapping about automations and all the technicals, I'm going to give you a quick background about myself, because I've had, I think, 32 jobs since the age of 15. My parents in the back can attest. They really never know what's going on with me. So we're going to get into that a little bit. And hopefully by the end of this, I can gaslight you all into becoming aspiring quitters. That's my goal today, is to convince everybody to be quitters, okay? So if you were to call me in 2018 and say, hey, Joe, what are you up to? I'd probably say something along the lines of, oh, I just got off the truck, ran a gnarly fire, ran a cool call, something like that. I was on the ambulance because at the time I was a firefighter in Nokesville, Virginia, in Prince William County. So if anybody's from Virginia and there was a Nokesville is, that's where I grew up. If you called me a year later, I would have been just graduating flight attendant training and getting ready to go fly the friendly skies. I think I could probably recite the whole brief they give you about the safety vest and doing all the stuff that you know you're supposed to do that no one's going to do in an emergency, but we say it anyway. If you were to call me the next year, I would probably be picking Nilton's feet. Nilton is a 17-hand thoroughbred that hates being touched and loves to kick people. So naturally, when I started working with horses, I was the guy that they put with Nilton because I was new and I didn't know that this horse liked to kick people. So if you've ever been next to a 17-hand thoroughbred trying to pick their feet after being exercise ridden, then you will know the fear that was probably going through my veins, because I think that was my first day with Nilton. If you were to call me a year later, I would have said I'm an instructor at iFly Indoor Skydiving, flying around in a wind tunnel. Raise your hand if you've ever been to iFly before. Wow, a lot of you have. Okay. All right. Honestly, one of the coolest jobs. Oh, hopefully I don't fall at the back of the stage. That was close. One of the coolest jobs I've ever had, and just a little lead for anybody who's looking. They are horrible with systems and process. Literally one of the worst companies I've ever seen at building a process that works. So after this, everybody go on LinkedIn, find someone that works at an iFly, and just start absolutely cold calling the ever-loving crap out of them. Email them the cringiest ChatGPT generated with all the M dashes, slide into all their DMs. They desperately need it. If you had called me the next year, I would have been in Miami jumping out of airplanes, because at the time I was a professional parachute packer and skydiver. Anybody been skydiving before? Anybody been skydiving before more than once? Okay, anybody have their license? Anybody, do you have your license? A license, B license, C license? A license, how many jumps do you have? Where do you jump out of? Where? Z Hills. Okay, very cool, very cool. I can't remember anybody I know from Z Hills, but I've jumped there quite a few times. Very cool. And at the time, again, if my mom and dad had called me and asked me what I was doing, because they probably didn't know, my mom would say something along the lines, oh, that's good, honey. All right, it sounds like you're doing well. I hope you figure it out, because secretly they're all hoping, just stop freaking changing jobs, just stick to something and get married and have babies so that we can be grandparents, because your sisters aren't working any harder, so we gotta get there somehow. So if you were to call me later that same year, you would find me at McLaren in Miami. Same city this time, I didn't move, but I was working as a technician on some of the coolest cars in the world. I've been a car nut my whole life, and I always wanted to work at McLaren, and I YouTube university'd my way to get the people at McLaren to, I convinced them to let me work on their cars, which is pretty crazy. So I was working at the most top exotic car dealer as a mechanic in Miami. Now, at the time, I'm doing a job that I loved. I'm in a cool city. I'm in Miami, working on really cool cars. And this is me in front of my house. Not in front of my car in front of my house. This is me in front of my house. This is, if anybody's ever owned a Lincoln Town car, you know how freaking incredible these cars are. They're so comfy, and people don't know what comfortable cars are anymore. They ship these garbage. I'm not going to go into cars. All right. So this is my 2000 Lincoln Town car slash my high-rise apartment. And that's where I lived because I couldn't afford rent in Miami. And I would bounce around from couch to living with somebody or letting somebody stay with me for a couple weeks. But mostly I lived in my car. And it's kind of funny. I bought this car for $1,800 on Craigslist when people still bought stuff on Craigslist. By all means, I had a great job. I loved what I did, but man, I did not love my life. It's kind of, you can have a job that you love and like not enjoy your life. And I think that's the situation for a lot of us. Certainly was for me at the time. My sister Leslie lived in Miami. She was about how far was she? She's about a mile from the McLaren dealer I was at. So during lunch, I would leave the dealership and I would drive my town car over to her house, and hopefully she'd have enough food from the night before and she would make me food. If she didn't, then it was wait till dinner and go to Taco Bell and eat at Taco Bell. But Leslie was mostly responsible for feeding me and making sure I was okay, and taking me to lunch, which she was doing in this picture, and just being a good sister. Fast forward 4 years, I'm closing deals with guys like Chris Claflin, who's the CEO of Nightweave. They're doing a few $1 million a month in cloaks. And I'm closing deals with guys like Daymond John from Shark Tank and doing their systems and their automations. So how do we go from Lincoln Town car, high-rise apartment, epitome of luxury and class, to working with Daymond John from Shark Tank and guys like him? Automation, baby, right? I knew nothing about automation when I started doing it. I knew Control-Alt-Delete Task Manager. I knew how to fix my mom's printer by unplugging and replugging it until it worked, right? And I would call my dad about anything because he was a software developer in the 90s and helped invent the internet. So he knew a lot more than I did at the time, but I knew nothing about automation. So let's dig into automation a little bit. Who can give me a good definition of what they think automation is? Anybody want to give it a stab? What do you think automation is?
It is where something happens and it triggers something else, it triggers something else, it triggers something else, and you do nothing.
Great. So something happens and then a chain of events happens after that. Fantastic. Any other definitions anybody wants to throw out? Go ahead. Paper to digital. Great. That's a great example of automation. Any others? Go ahead. What's that? Make things work without human intervention. Okay, these are all great and correct. So, automation is the programmatic delegation of deterministic or conditionally adaptive tasks to systems capable of executing them without... Okay, so that's what automation is. If you were to ask ChatGPT, which I did to make this slide, that's what it would tell you that automation is, okay? A set of deterministic inputs that create outputs without human intervention. I don't define automation that way in my whole automation career of going everywhere that I have. I've never looked at it that way. I've never defined it that way. So what is automation actually? Automation is playing with your kids. This is my son Oliver, who's 4 years old now. Automation is playing with your kids. All right? Automation is skydiving. Automation is scuba diving. Automation is hanging out at the boat club. All right? Automation is spending time with your family. That's automation. Okay? I want everybody to repeat after me. Automation is the process of getting rid of the things I hate doing. Automation is the process of getting rid of the things I hate doing. That's what automation is. This is a people-focused definition, not a programmatic definition. I wasn't good at tech when I started. I knew nothing about APIs and applications and JavaScript and Python and all this other stuff that people talk about. But I was really good at working with people. When I was 25, I had 32 jobs. I had counted up at that point. And I learned a lot about people. This is people-focused. Automation is people-focused. not systems focused. So if you're thinking about doing AI, you're thinking about automation, you're thinking about implementing this kind of stuff into your business. If you're a people person, you have what it takes. The hard skills of development and programming are less important, right? People think automation, they think of this, right? This is automation. This is automation. It's spending time with your spouse, spending time with your family, spending time doing what you want to do. So that's all great. That's all hype and everything. All right, automation is not having to work and spending time with my family. Rah. Now what do? I know that I want to spend time. This guy's telling me that I should do more of the things that I like, but someone's got to pay the bills. What is automation? How do I actually do it? There's 3 things you need to know technically to start an automation business or to automate your own business or to do anything with automation. There's 3 things, main components you have to know. You have to know what an application is. You have to know what an API is. And you have to have an iPaaS. That's a nerdy sounding word, an iPaaS. So an application, what is an application? An application is just a piece of software that does something, okay? So a website tells you things. A web application does things. So if your website tells people your hours, when you're open, what you do, the services you have, your blogs, right? Uber Eats brings you your Cold Stone at 11 o'clock at night in your jammies, right? It does something for you. Big difference there. Website shows you something, application does something. And that goes for the applications that are on your phone or on your PC or Mac. An app does something, a website shows you something. An API. This is the most technical thing that you will probably have to remember from today. And if you do remember it, you'll sound really smart to all your developer friends. When you're sitting in on a meeting and someone says API, you can go, I know what an API is. An API is an application program interface. And everybody's going to go, okay, that's cool. Application program interface is a fancy way of saying it's a backdoor into an application that already exists. Now, you probably are familiar with that. Maybe not. Maybe this is the first time you're hearing application program interface, but API is just fancy English for this is a different way to use a software than you're accustomed to seeing. Okay, so if you were to go, anybody ever been to Red Robin before? Are they around here? I live in Jacksonville, so I don't know if we have Red Robins up there, but Red Robin's a burger joint. I used to work at it, oddly enough. I was a line cook at a Red Robin. And so if Red Robin is the application, you can go in the front door and talk to the hostess, right? And they'll sit you down, they'll take your order, they'll take your drink, you do the shimmy, and they bring you your food. Or alternatively, you can go in the back door where the cooks are, and you can use the grill, or you can use the fryer, or you can use the dish machine operation, and you will probably get kicked out. But for this analogy, just imagine there's the door available to you where you can go in the nice, pretty way, and you can have the burger made for you, or you can go through the back door, and you can use their equipment to make your own burger, right? Both are kind of the same end result. You get a cooked burger, but it's 2 different ways of using Red Robin, if Red Robin is the application, okay? So the API, it's just the back door into the application. iPaaS, integration platform as a service. Can anybody give me an example of an integration platform as a service? Thank you. There we go, Zapier. All right, so there's several out there. There's Make, there's Naden, there's Workato, there's SAP has their own iPaaS, and then there's Zapier, which is my favorite because it's my client's favorite. By no means is it like the best or has the most capability, but my clients like it, and they pay me a lot of money, so that's what I use. So an integration platform as a service is the glue between an application and another application's API, okay? It's an integration platform as a service. It connects apps together. So I used to be a graphic designer, and I didn't. This is horrible. I was never a graphic designer. You can probably tell. I made this fun little diagram. This right here, all right? This is everything you need to know to run an automation company. To have a 6-figure a month automation company is that diagram right there. App gives information to iPaaS, which trades information with an API from another app, which goes back to the iPaaS, which goes back to the application. That's it. That's automation. Literally everything else is people work. And I'm going to get into that. But this is like the most technical thing you have to know. In ClickUp, I have a button. When I press the button, I want a invoice to be created. Let's go back to the cookie analogy, right? So QuickBooks, I can go into QuickBooks Online and I can log in and I can create an invoice that's going in the front door of Red Robin, right? Or I can connect ClickUp via iPaaS to QuickBooks, and I can click a button, and the iPaaS Zapier will go into QuickBooks for me. It goes in the back door. It just does the one function, just create an invoice for me, and then it brings it on back to ClickUp. That's Zapier's whole job, is just to connect them, okay? I am so unbelievably deadly serious when I say this. If you can understand the theology, if you want to call it, behind automation, if you can understand this, you can really automate anything that has an API. This is as complicated as it gets, and don't let anybody else tell you that it is. Because 4 years ago, I was living in my damn car, okay? And now I get to work with a shark from Shark Tank. This is what you need to know. Okay, so automation's pretty simple. People are less simple, okay? Automation says automate everything that can be automated. But as people, we know that we don't want to automate everything that can be automated. Just because something can be automated does not mean it should be automated, okay? Back when I was in the fire department up in Knoxville, Virginia, when I first started there, I was like really serious about getting the technicals of being a firefighter down, right? I want to be the most physically fit person there, which I've lost all of, as you can clearly tell. I want to have the best SCBA operations. I want to have the best emergency operations. I want to know how to operate the pumper better than anybody else. I want to know how to run a tourniquet faster than anybody else. I want to be able to pipe an IV better and faster and wherever better than everybody else. I want to be the best at everything. So when I first started, I graduated fire school, and like most times in the fire department, you're not putting out fires, you're back at the firehouse. And so I'm there, I'm like really focused on training, right? I'm outside running laps, or I'm in the books, or I'm doing something. And Connor Shiro, who was my lieutenant at the time, he's the chief now, was like, hey, you need to come play basketball because we're outside playing basketball. And I'm like, no, dude, like, I'm hard. Goggins. Got to get in the books. Got to work out. Like, I'm not doing that. Playing's for weak. I'm going to work on being a good fireman. He was like, no, the hell you're not. You're going to come outside and play basketball. And so the first fire that we ran, that I ran as a firefighter, I think was like 2 weeks after I graduated fire school. And the lesson I learned was that, similar with automation, it's almost never about technical skills and understanding people. When you're in a fire and you have your mask on and it's in the middle of the night and the lights aren't on because there's a fire and all the electric is out, you're relying on your senses, and you're relying on the feeling that you're getting between the four other firemen that are behind you. You can't see them. You can hear them breathing, all right? You can hear their pass alarm, but you can't see them. And you're relying on this feeling that you have together. And where do you think you build that feeling? You don't build the feeling in the books or like memorizing that stuff. You build it playing basketball. You build it spending time together. And you never, ever, ever, ever want to replace that. If one of my systems engineers that works for me right now were to look at how our fire department ran, they would go, what are they doing? They're spending all this time playing basketball and playing pranks on each other and being stupid when they could be learning to be better firemen. But as people, we might all understand that, like, just because it can be automated, just because the system can be better, just because it looks like it could be more efficient, doesn't mean it should be. We can all understand that about human nature, right? Which leads me to my next problem with people. Who knows what this phrase means? Does anybody know what this phrase means? The key man problem. Who said yes? Raise your hand. Tell me about the key man problem. We talked. I've met you guys. Nice to see you. Go ahead.
It's the person in charge. Nobody can go above the lid.
Uh-huh. That's right. That's a good definition. Anybody else ever heard of the key man problem before? Yeah, over here. Yeah, okay, great. Did you have a definition too? Same thing. Okay. What's that? Okay, yeah, exactly. Exactly. The key man problem is there's one person in the business, normally the business owner, probably all of you, that if you left your business, the whole thing would go kaput, right? You can't take vacation. You can't go do stuff with your kids. You can't go skydiving like I know you all want to do, right? You can't go do that stuff because you're the key man in your business. And if you took a week off of work, your business would suffer. That is the single biggest business killer, the single business biggest motivation killer that I have ever seen doing this business is the key man problem. Every business has that problem, every single one. And what we want to do with automation is figure out where the key man is and how to solve it. Because regardless of people and how they want to associate with each other, if you can't turn your business over to somebody else, if you can't sell your business, you're never going to get away from it. And if you're on a sinking ship, you want to get off of it. And if you're the key man, you can't get off of it. You can't sell it. You can't put other people in charge because you're the key man. So how do we get rid of the key man problem? So we've done, God, I don't even know many. Chris, you might be able to know how many we've done, but we've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of business process audits to see where people's businesses are at. How do we put your whole business on autopilot? How do we remove the key man? And out of that, we developed the CLEAR framework, okay? CLEAR stands for clarify, list, evaluate, automate, refine. All right, clarify. What the heck does your business do? Right? I think most people that I talk to, if I was like, tell me what your business is in 2 sentences, they'd have a very difficult time not running on into like 3 or 4 sentences or a paragraph or a book or whatever. Clarifying your business and being able to articulate what it is you actually do is a lot more difficult than you'd think. And if you've never tried to put your whole business into 1 or 2 sentences, try, because it's not always easy. I run an automation business. Like, my biggest problem was always, we optimize your systems and we connect these things with an iPaaS and we make it so that you don't have to do this. It's like, okay, that's great. You're yapping. What do? We automate your business in 90 days. That you can kind of grab, you can get it. You can imagine what that's like. Okay, they automate your business in 90 days. There's probably a lot that goes into that, but I basically understand what he's talking about, right? If you don't have like a one-liner for that for your business, you need clarity. So that's step 1. Clarify the business. What do they actually do? 2, I went ahead of workflow, but that's okay. List the workflows. All right. What are all the workflows of the business? 3 is evaluate for automation opportunity. And there's a reason that we don't just go right from list to implement automation, because step 3, which is evaluating for automation opportunity, is the most important part. It's the most important part because that's where you look at the business and you say, okay, this could be automated. Should it be automated? There was a law firm that I was working with sometime last year, and they had this crazy process, like the most insane thing I've ever seen. An intake form would come in online. Someone would print the form and walk it 2 offices down to another person who would scan the printed form and then upload it to Google Drive. What? So, of course, me and my system engineers and anybody else, all of you would look at that and go like, form comes in, up to Google Drive. Boom, pay me $100,000, right? And so when we were asking him about this, I was like, what is this? Like, I know you guys need automation, but you can't be that. You can't be that dumb, right? Like, you could just put it up. And so, of course, there's more to it. He's like, look, the people in the office, it's a big office, and they don't get to associate with each other a lot. And we have these, like, arguments and these tensions that come up when people don't associate with each other. Because we do a lot of high-value law. We do, like, really high-value divorce. And we need people to talk. And if everybody's just uploading stuff into the cloud, it's hard for me to get these people to talk. And it's these 2 particular departments that happen to have a problem with each other. I don't know. Maybe they should be looking into why they have a problem with each other. But what they found was, like, if we can give the admin here an excuse to go and talk to the admin here, things tend to generally work better. So that's called intentional obsolescence. All right, intentional obsolescence, doing something on purpose that is obsolete. And that's a system we don't want to automate. If you're telling me that there's a system that's in place that is intentionally bad so that your people have more synergy and work better together and the system overall performs better, we don't want to automate it, right? Just because it can be automated doesn't mean it should be automated, all right? Just because it can doesn't mean it should. My engineers would disagree with me because they want to automate everything, but that's the truth. Step 4, implement the automation. Step 5, refine the automation, fix whatever bugs happen, turn the keys over to the new owner. So I said I was going to ask you for something, and I was going to give you something. Okay? Everyone pull out your wallet. No, I'm kidding. So everybody, I think here, if you're staying at the hotel, if you're staying at a hotel, you probably have stationery upstairs in your room. And what I want you to do is tonight, when you get back to your hotel room, I want you to write with a pen and paper. Do not swear on everything. If you put this into ChatGPT, I will find all of you. Write this down on a piece of paper. If there's any M dashes in the response, just no. Go back to your hotel room tonight and use the pen and paper and the skills God gave you to write down on a piece of paper the thing that you hate doing most at work. What is the thing you hate doing the most? This is what I'm going to ask you to do. And you're going to take that piece of paper, and tomorrow I want you to put a piece of paper in your pocket when you come downstairs, and everybody else here is going to have done the same thing. Okay? So you're writing down the thing you hate most doing at work. And then tomorrow, you'll have something to talk about with everybody. All right? So when you're hanging out with somebody, hey, what did you write down? And this is going to do a couple of things. One, it's going to show you that, like, look, you're not struggling alone. You're going to see a lot of people have the same thing. I hate opening my email. My God, that's the biggest one that I hear personally is my email is a mess. It's a to-do list. Never treat your email as a to-do list. It's a black hole. I hate doing my email. I hate sales follow-ups. I hate writing all this stuff. Whatever it is, write it down. Somebody else is going to have had it. You just got to ask around enough. So that's the first thing. You're going to know you're not alone in whatever struggle you have. Second thing is, you're going to go up to somebody and you're going to go, hey, what'd you write on your piece of paper? They're going to say, oh, I wrote down that I can't get out of my inbox. I hate opening my inbox. And you're going to say, oh my gosh, I figured I was going to write that down, but I actually figured that out last week. I figured out how to solve that. I figured out automation. I figured out a system, an AI platform, whatever it is, a GPT that helps me do it. And so when you're talking to people, you're going to get camaraderie of the fact that you're not alone in the struggles that you have. And the second thing is other people are going to give you their solutions when they hear your problems that you used to have. All right. And then as a bonus third, if you're like, I kind of like this automation stuff, I think I might be able to do this. You're going to get a whole bunch of ideas when you get back home about things that you could automate. And if you hear somebody else's problem that they're having and you go back home and you figure out that problem, guess who you have? A client, right? A client. So if you write down the thing you hate doing the most, you put it on the piece of paper, you come tomorrow, you talk to everybody about it. All right, you're going to have lots of stuff that you can work on. And when you get back, you have to keep that piece of paper on your desk, and you're going to keep it there until you figure out a solution for it. And that's going to be step one to spending time with your kids and spending time doing things that you like doing. Because if the purpose and the reward for doing hard work is more hard work, then get me off the dang ship. The reward for doing hard work cannot be doing more hard work. That can't be it. I don't care what anybody says. It's a horrible way to live. Okay. If you do this, you will be putting your business on autopilot, which is my goal for everyone here today, for every single one of you, is to put your business on autopilot as much as it can be, as much as you want it to be. As much as you don't want to do the obsolete things and you like copywriting or you like creating content or you like getting on sales calls or you like doing whatever it is that you'd like doing in your business, do that. And I want you to put everything else on autopilot because you can do it. Again, Lincoln Town Car. I figured this out. You can figure it out too. I'm not that bright, I promise. All right. My wife would tell you differently, but she's really nice. Okay. So second thing I said I was going to give you is the clear framework. Okay, the clear framework is what we have used from businesses from 100 people. I got somebody. All right, you can stop. That's you probably just met my friend Rick if you scan that QR code. All right. Yeah, it was my goal to Rickroll a whole audience of people. So goal accomplished. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, I had to do it. All right, so this is the actual QR code. So I am going to give you my clear framework, which is the actual whole process that we go through to audit a business and figure out what needs to be automated and figure out the key man. Like this 4.5 years of work that I've done to be able to audit Daymond John's business and to be able to audit individual businesses and figure out like How do we get a business on a whiteboard? This is it. Here you go. It's yours. It's going to be, I charge for it. So it's free for you guys until the end of the conference. Okay. So make sure you put your name on the list before the end of the conference and you'll get it. I think after tomorrow at midnight, the webpage is going to come down, and then it'll be paywalled again. So smartclick.systems/AI4B, or scan that non-Rickroll QR code and you'll get it. Now, out of curiosity, how many of us are business owners? Everybody, right? Who has their entire business process on a whiteboard? Like everything, like someone, you could leave your business and some other high achiever could come into your business, look at the whiteboard and go like, I know exactly what I need to do today. I know everybody's workflows. Who has that written out for their entire business on a whiteboard? Back there? You do? What's your business? One more time? Print shop. That's cool. Wow, that's very cool. I actually haven't worked with a print shop before. What about you? What's that? You're a SaaS platform? What does your SaaS do? Does it use AI? That's cool. That's cool. Everybody, what's your name? Ryan? Ryan what? I don't know if I'm going to be able to repronounce that. I'm going to just say Ryan, that guy right there. Go talk to him because that's like the second most important thing in my life is my taxes. That's very cool. So most of us don't have our business process all written down on a whiteboard. If that's our starting point, you are already a key man because you've got to have that written down, and the clear framework is going to help you get there. Okay? smartclick.systems/AI4B. You don't have to just put your name in. You'll get the email. You can look at it in 2 weeks or later, whenever you need to, but get it while it's getting good. Okay. Oh, clicker. So when everyone woke up this morning, they had a first thought, right? Maybe it was the sales call you don't want to take, or man, this conference is great and I'm getting a lot out of it, or how am I going to take the stuff from this conference and bring it home, right? Or maybe it's that customer that won't email you back. This is my first thought every morning. It's my wife, Samantha, and my daughter and my son. This is what I want to continue thinking about every freaking morning that I wake up. This is everything. Okay? When you wake up in the morning, you shouldn't have to be thinking about the crap that you don't want to do. All right? Maybe you have a picture on your desk. Maybe it's your grandchild. Maybe it's your child. Maybe it's your favorite meal, the $1.50 Costco hot dog and a drink from the food court. Maybe it's that one, right? I'd be lying if I didn't tell you that at one point I was trying to convince my wife to let us name our kid Costco hot dog because I thought that would be the coolest thing ever. Because I think it's probably the greatest deal of our time. So I want you to think of that picture that you have on your desk and ask yourself what your life would look like if you stopped doing stuff that you hate. What would your life look like if you stopped doing stuff that you hate? Automation is the process of getting rid of the things I hate doing. I'm asking you to become a quitter. You need to figure out how to start quitting the things that you hate doing. And I'm telling you from personal experience in my life, the answer to that has been, first and foremost, God. Secondly, automation. Automation is how I stop doing things that I hate doing in my life and start spending more time doing the things that I love to do, which is spending time with my family. If you want to reach me, if you need help with the clear framework, I'm the easiest person in the world to find. Automate90.com. All my socials are at Joe Zapian. I'm serious when I say this. If you take the clear framework seriously, you build your business blueprint, you build your workflows, you'll be in a lot better place. You'll spend a lot more time with your children's. Master the basics, application, API, iPaaS. Put your business on autopilot, get your lives back, spend less time on things you hate doing and more time on things that you want to do.
That's a wrap for this episode of the AI for Business podcast. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit subscribe and pass it along to a friend or colleague. We appreciate you being here, and we'll catch you in the next one.